Hi everyone, this is the National Master Asano Santagati, and this is the second video about the series about outplay against the Dutch and the Dutch defense. And in the first video, we focused attention about the Hopton attack. The Hopton attack is very nice, and we said that after bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, after g5, e4 is a very strong move for white, and we focused attention about the variation with the rook h7. Queen h5, rook f7, bishop takes, pawn takes, and now knight f3. And we said that knight f6 is wrong for black. So the question is how the black can defend the rook, and I think or with the knight g8 or with the queen. I think it's better or are similar, I think there's two variations, but for first we see the variation with knight h6. If knight h6, I can play knight takes g5 and I can attack this rook. And now after this move, the black can play, for example, f takes e4. I will play knight c3, and the idea about knight c3 is take the square d5, because if the black will push d5, I can simply trade all the pieces, and I can simply go in a good game for me, because in this position, white has 7 pawns against 5, the pawn e4 is very weak, and we know that usually have rook and 2 pawns against 2 minor pieces is better for rook and 2 pawns, so the white can be happy about his endgame now. For this reason, probably d5 is a mistake, and if the black when push d5, maybe need e6 to have this push, but after e6, white can play immediately d5, and it's fine to open the position, and if black will trade, in theory I can still trade all the pieces and play queen takes d5, because for sure I will take the pawn e4, and at the end I will play again an endgame with the rook and 2 pawns against 2 minor pieces, and this endgame is very nice for white because white can play with 3 passed pawns, so very nice endgame for white. And yeah, again, white can be happy about this. So, and this position I think is very nice for white because the white can always choose if play an endgame or play with a good activity, because in theory now it's possible play knight takes f7, but in theory it's possible also play castle queenside, because after that black has to play c6 to defend the pawn, and now it's very interesting bishop c4. Bishop c4 is very interesting because the idea is sacrifice on e4 to the next example. If bishop g7, I can sacrifice knight takes e4, because if black will take, I win the game after knight takes f7. This bishop is very strong, and it's very nice. So knight takes e4, and now we can see what happens if pawn takes bishop. I think easily knight d6 is fine. Yeah, and that is winning because then I take the rook. So yeah, we can play for the game, but we can play also castle. And after the castle, it's very hard to find the right way to play for black. I think bishop g7 immediately is better, but rook takes d5 is fine, with the simple idea in theory that I can play rook f5 in theory. I don't know if knight c6, for example, maybe it's playable. Rook f5 is fine here, but maybe black can do d6 to avoid that. And now I can bring the knight in the game. And this position I think is very hard for black. Maybe can defend the position, but the white is too good, because when the white wants, can trade all the pieces and go in a good endgame. So I think black has a chance to defend the position. The position is very complicated. The important for white is understand that we have a nice position in which when we want, we can trade all the pieces to go in a good endgame. So the white play a position without problem. And yeah, so it's very interesting this, after knight c3, e6, and for sure in this variation, white is without problem. We can go to see what happened if e6. that can be another option for black to defend the rook. Now the idea is defend the rook with the queen, or with the queen f6, or with the queen e7. After that I play knight takes g5, and queen f6 is wrong. Queen f6 is wrong because after that I can simply take f5. And if the black will take the pawn with the queen, white will win the game easily. Because white can play bishop d3, and if queen takes f2, simply king d1. And it's interesting because now f5 open is fine for white, because the white can bring the rook to f1 and can win the game. Because a lot of attackers against f7. The white can add the rook, the white can add the bishop. So for example, if knight h6, I can simply trade. And if the black will take with the queen, I can play bishop g6 and then win the queen. And if knight takes f7, I can simply play rook f1. And if you move the rook, if you move the queen away, I can simply play for the mate, queen f7, and then queen f8 checkmate. Because if king d8, queen f8 is checkmate. So after rook f1, the black has to give the queen, and for sure white is winning now with the queen up. Easy game for white. So it's very nice because yeah, after e takes f5 is wrong for the queen takes the pawn, and the black has to play knight h6 probably, and after, not take immediately. First take the rook, knight f7, and f takes e6. White is fine because 7 pawns against 4, and so now white has an easy position. For white can be also good trade the queens, because if black takes with the queen, I can simply trade the queens, and after knight takes, I take the pawn, and this endgame is very good because rook and 3 pawns against 2 minor pieces. So again, it's very important to focus attention about that game. Yeah, so queen f6 is not good. Probably the black is defend with queen e7, but again, white has an easy position because if the white want, can simply trade immediately and play this endgame, and this endgame is still fine for white because the rook and 2 pawns against 2 minor pieces. But in theory, the white can take a choice because it's fine take, but it's still fine play knight c3 to play in a different way, more aggressively we can say. The point is that after knight f6 probably have to trade all the pieces, and again have to gain a game, and a game fine for white, in which the white is without problem. So I think that this variation with the rook h7 is not so good, because I think that after rook h7 and the rook f7 is very strong for white, bishop takes g5. And after h takes g5, knight f3, white is fine, because or we will go in a winning position if black will do a mistake, or if the black will play well, we can have a nice endgame in which we have good chance to win the game. So for this variation about rook h7 and rook f7 is okay. In the new videos, we focus attention about other variations. So bishop g7 and knight f6. Thank you for the attention, and see you for the next video. Remember to follow me on social networks and share the video with your friends. Thanks!